So you have a model, of course, that's newspaper-focused, where we're going through a huge transformation in the media business, but you could also be impacted by Brexit. What do you worry about the most? Is it the model of the future, or is it just kind of day-to-day, just having more certainty about what happens with Brexit?
Well, it's both. The newspaper industry's been going through change since the 1960s. And despite the statutory loss, which you referred to, our operating profit was up 17% to 145 million. And in fact, we beat market expectations. So the way we look at it, we had actually a very good year. Cash flow was strong, dividends are up 6%. And I think we're navigating this digital transition really well. But you're absolutely right. Brexit creates short-term uncertainty. I think any of your guests, any businesses that are announcing results at this time of year with Brexit just 1 month away is going to flag significant risk. There is risk to our business. We're doing everything we can to mitigate it. But inevitably, if the ports were to jam up, we import a lot of our newsprint from Canada and Scandinavia. So there is risk to our supply chain. But more importantly, we rely on advertisers having the confidence to advertise. And if there is a collapse in confidence, then that will have an impact on our business.
Will you still have papers in 10 years, or are you going to go fully online? I mean, this is kind of like, it's one of these big questions, I guess, that at some point you'll have to see what readership is like.
Yes, we will. And we still sell 1.7 million newspapers every single day. So people still read and love the printed product. And I do believe they'll be around in 10 years' time. However, we are building a huge digital audience. We have 37 million people in the UK that read our sites every month. We've got £100 million now of digital revenue. So it's a balancing act. We love print and we want to keep it going as long as we can, but we're also realistic that people's habits are changing. And so we've got to build a digital business.
So the decline in readership in some of your papers actually slowed in the last couple of months. Is that because of some of the changes that you've implemented, or is it because people really take an interest to Brexit and some of the stories covered? How difficult is that?
I wish that were true. I think our readers are bored of Brexit now. And I think what we've seen in the last few months, particularly over Christmas, is actually it's more been national print advertising has been stronger than we were expecting. Maybe there is a swing a little bit away from the social media platforms. Maybe advertisers are getting a bit concerned about their brand and brand safety. They want to ensure their brands are appearing in a brand safe environment. So I think there's a pendulum swinging a little bit towards traditional media, and we need to exploit that. But readership of the printed product will continue to decrease. But on the plus side, our total readership has never been bigger.
So do people want local news stories? Are we becoming more local in what we're focusing on? And is that where you're expecting to grow a lot of your revenue?
Yeah, so half our business is local, half is national. Local is really, really important to us. And in fact, we've been opening new local digital-only newsrooms, which is perhaps a surprise. We've just opened in Leeds, in Edinburgh. We've got a Black Country site and a Lancashire site. So we do see a big appetite for local news. I think the local news brand shines a spotlight on democracy, keeps people rooted in community. So we think we play an important role in those communities.
What role should the government play in this kind of media expansion, or especially local news? It's subsidies. How can they support you better?
So big question. The Cairncross report came out last week. That was a very, very detailed look at local news in particular, public interest news generally, but local news in particular. She came up with a raft of interesting suggestions. We've also got a white paper coming out on online harms quite soon. The Select Committee, Culture Select Committee came out with a big report about digital harm just recently. There's a lot of reports. I think translating those reports into action would be good. And there isn't much of that. But we did last year set up a scheme with the BBC to work together on local democracy reporting. There are 150 reporters now across all regional newsrooms that are actually paid for by the BBC, focused entirely on local councils. And I think that sort of collaborative working is really important and something I'd like to see more of.